The Ulterum center console storage lock vault that we have here will be an affordable security solution for all 2015 through 2020 F-150s that's not going to take up the entire center console. Now this simple yet incredibly stout product will only appeal to F-150 owners who have what is called the flow-through center console, which is just basically going to apply to all trucks that don't have a front bench seat. Now materials will feature a very thick 12-gauge steel plate along with the anti-pry hinges and a pry-resistant or tamper-resistant lock combination, all for just north of $100, making this one of the most affordable of its kind currently on the site. Now installation is going to require the smallest amount of drilling, but the site's still going to stick to a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, and they call it at least 30 minutes, but probably take you a little bit longer depending on just how fast you like to work. But either way guys, hang with me for a bit and we'll walk you through that job later in the video. So this is a product I think a lot of truck owners out there will enjoy, as it's going to provide an affordable locking storage solution for your handgun, electronics, valuables, or whatever else it is you need safely stored while the truck is parked. Now, along with the affordability aspect of this particular option, I really like how it only utilizes about half of your center console storage, while most of your other options that you're going to find here on the site are going to utilize the entire space. Now on top of that, you can also still utilize your factory coin tray or storage tray, which fills this area up perfectly, and that's of course a nice thing to mention as well. Materials are going to be very stout here despite being your more budget-minded option, right? 12-gauge steel throughout, along with those anti-pry hinges, and a 3-digit combo lock that you can set to your preference after you get everything installed. Now the entire package is then finished off in a textured black powder coat, and that's just going to help keep this thing looking good for years to come. Now one thing I do want to point out or clarify here is that it does not feature a spring-loaded top like other options out there. However, it does feature friction bolts to make sure the top stays open while you're storing your goods or taking things out, and it's not going to slam on your hands. So one thing to mention here, sure, the spring-loaded tops are nice, but you are going to be paying more of a premium for those storage solutions here on the site. And again, I just like the size of this thing. It's just enough where you can fit a handgun, your everyday carry, something like that, while not dominating the entire space. But now let's get into the install as promised earlier. And again, not the toughest job in the world, but it does require some slight disassembly of your center console, along with the smallest amount of drilling for the mounting hardware. Luckily, everything is included with a kit here in addition to some instructions. But to give you a better idea of how things are going to go down, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown right now.
Tools used for this install are a drill, 3/8 inch drill bit, a ratchet, 10mm socket, 7mm socket, an extension, a small pry bar, an interior trim removal tool, and a small pick or pin. So for this install, we're gonna have to do a little bit of disassembly on our center console in order to get our locking center box installed properly. We'll have to remove a couple of panels in order to reveal the hardware. It's a very simple process and there's very few tools required. I'm gonna walk you through it. So let's get started. So first things first, we're gonna have to remove this cup holder section. It should just pop right off, but if it doesn't, you can just use a plastic trim removal tool to pry it off, and it'll reveal these 2 screws right here that we'll have to remove with a 7mm socket. Once you have those removed, you can pull the vent section back a little bit and disconnect your plugs from behind. I have both of the front seats slid all the way forward. That's going to reveal the 10mm bolt on either side of the center console that I'll use my 10mm socket to remove. Now I'm going to carefully insert the center locking vault into place, and then I'm going to use the holes that are in the bottom of that vault as my drill template so that I can make my holes. So now that we have the lockbox placed inside of our center console, we're going to use a drill with a 3/8 drill bit to drill through the 4 holes that are in the bottom of the lockbox through the center console, where we're gonna then install a plate underneath that has nuts in it that we can bolt this down securely. So once you've drilled your holes, you're gonna wanna make sure that you clean out any of the drill debris that may have built up inside there. So I'm just gonna take my shop vac and vacuum that out. So now I'm ready to install my bolt plate for the security box. So what I'll do is take my pry bar here and position it underneath the center console so that I can fit this through here and slide it in. So now I'm ready to install the provided hardware for the kit. I have a bolt, a lock washer, and a flat washer, and I'll just line those up with the 4 holes that I drilled and the bolt plate that I installed underneath, and then I can bolt those down with a 10mm socket. Once I have all 4 bolts started, I'm going to use an extension with my 10mm socket, and I can tighten them down with my ratchet. The combination for the lock comes preset at 000. However, if you want to change that, all you need is a small pick or a pin, and you just push into this little hole here on the side, and you can change the combination to whatever you want that suits your needs. So we've got our lock box securely in place and bolted down with the provided hardware. Now we can begin the reassembly of our center console, and that's basically going to be the exact opposite of the removal process. Just clip everything back into place, make my connections, and reinstall my bolts. I'll just reinstall my 10mm bolts here on the side and then my 2 7mm bolts at the top. Now you can just reinstall your cup holder and you're all good to go. And that's going to wrap up this review and install of the Alterum Center Console Storage Lock Vault fitting your 2015 to 2020 F-150 with flow-through center console. Thanks for watching, and for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.